Hi, today I'm so excited because we have Angela Foster, who is a petite style coach. Angela spent over 20 years as an executive in the fashion and beauty space, and she loves helping busy, high achieving women look their best. She really believes that by owning your style and looking your best, it helps you crush your goals and focus on the things that are important, like making a huge impact. So, the reason I wanted to have Angela, you're going to see super quickly because her energy is amazing. So, Angela and I became friends via LinkedIn, of all places, right?
Yep.
I
Yep.
like some of her posts. She was like making posts with like bras in them. And I'm like, oh, this chick is cool. I need to meet her. So, I kind of reached out and we had a Zoom date and, we have
Hmm.
some collaborations going on, but I just love
Yes.
her energy. I love talking about style. And I know post COVID, so many of us are confused. What the heck do I wear now? So,
Yep.
Angela and I are going to be talking about a couple of these things today. So, Angela, anything you'd like to add to that?
No, it's so true. And I think that in regards to the LinkedIn thing, it's so fun when you see something unexpected. I mean, bras is not something that you typically see on LinkedIn. So yes, yes, I'm glad. I am so grateful that I caught your attention because yes, your friendship has been great.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you for joining us
Of course.
today. I'm going to start by asking you, would you mind, Vixen is all about helping women evolve to their best self. I really think we
Hmm.
just have to return to our best self. We'll
Yeah.
get to that later. But would you mind sharing with us a story that you feel really was a pivotal moment in your life that made you the woman that we see sitting here today?
So that's deep. Let's see. I have to say, from a career and business standpoint,
Mhm.
it's, so many women are very intentional about creating a business and all of that, where I feel like it presented itself in front of me. I was super happy in my career. It was great. I probably would still be there today if it hadn't been for a woman asking for help. And she had just had her second baby and was going through a divorce. So there was a lot of changes in her.
Wow.
In her personal life, and all of that mental talk that happens when we're going through big changes like that. And she had asked for my style help, and it was really the thing that just kicked off my new career in my business and all of that. And there's something so amazingly powerful about being able to support women,
Mhm.
and really help them flourish and just feel confident and see their self-esteem grow. There is just nothing like it in the world. And I'm so grateful for her asking for help and for my career to take this pivot. It's been amazing. So,
I have to share with you, I got chills when you shared that were introduced to your current career by helping another woman. So I just think we need so much more of that in the world today. And I'm
yeah,
sure you made such an impact on her life. And in return, look how it completely changed your life, right?
right. Yes.
That's so
Yes.
fun.
I
Well,
love
thank you
that.
for sharing that. I know we
Yeah.
started deep, so we're going to go a little fun.
Okay,
So I
good.
have my Vixen cards, and
Oh
these are
no.
talking points. So we're
Okay.
going to just flip it open and see what the universe would like to hear from you today.
Uh-oh.
What historical era would you most and least like to visit?
Oh my gosh, I love that question. And it's tough. So the most like to visit, I think, would be the 60s.
Hmm.
The fashion is just so groundbreaking for the time,
True.
so fun, so liberating, so colorful, so cheerful. All of that, definitely. Least like to visit the 70s, definitely. Please, with the polyester. And I'm 5'1". Those bell bottoms are not flattering. So, yeah, definitely the 70s. Although like I could have been a damn good roller skate diva.
A
But
roller chick. Yes, I
yes,
love it.
exactly.
Oh my gosh, I went roller skating with my nieces and nephews last week, and I was like,
Did you
I
really?
actually grew up in a roller skating rink because my grandfather owned one.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
I'm like, how do you forget this so quickly? It was a great workout. So I love it.
I get these emails from Impala, and I don't know how, but they're a roller skating skateboarding company, and they have the best roller skates. And I cannot tell you how many times I've been super tempted to buy a pair and try it out. But then there's my fear of like breaking a hip at my age. So,
Well, you really don't need a broken arm right now, which is also my excuse when I'm skiing and I'm like, I'm going to go to the spa and meet you for a pre-drink, a pre-ski. So let's have
exactly.
fun.
What a great
Well,
question. That was so much fun.
good. I love it. I love it. All right. So we're going to kind of dig in. Today, we want to talk about branding yourself with your style. And when
Right.
you and I met, I shared with you this was important to me because, when I was in the financial industry for 15 years, I
Yes.
always dressed a certain way, which was a
Yep.
little bit above what most people wore to many events. I had my team dressed the same way. And,
Yep.
it's amazing how everyone knows you because you just appear the same all the time and you have
Yes.
that consistency. So I loved when I was talking to you that you're sharing with me, you're helping women do that, for either a photo shoot or just their career in general. So kind
Mhm.
of dig in. When did you
Right.
start doing this? And maybe, what are some tips for women to consider, especially female entrepreneurs? There are a ton of new female entrepreneurs since
Yes.
2020. And I think both you and I are passionate about helping them.
Yep.
So, I'm going to let
Yep.
you kind of take it away because this is your area of expertise.
Well, and there was so much goodness in there to unpack. So it happened, it started because the majority of my clients are women executives and or entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, that type of thing. So dressing their brand just happened naturally. I mean, that was obviously a question that they had. And that was a big thing of how can I dress for this speaking engagement or how for a networking event or photo shoot, to your point. So a couple of things in regards to executives, I think a lot of women think I don't really have a personal brand because I'm working for XYZ investment company or XYZ marketing company. And I think that used to be true. On the flip side, there's very few women who are growing their career right now that are going to be with that same company when they retire. So thinking that I don't need a personal brand because I work for this company is a little bit of a misnomer, right?
Mhm.
And when you're looking for a promotion or you're looking for career growth and all of that, I mean, you really own that. So that's from an executive standpoint, that personal branding is so incredibly important. When it comes to entrepreneurs, everybody talks about visibility. I have to be visible on social. I have to be visible on my website and all of that. And you had made some comment about consistency. Like my image was
Mhm.
consistent. So people recognized me as being the go-to expert in my industry. And that could not be more true. You think about how noisy it is out there with, I'm just thinking like with all of the different analytics companies. There's 20 of them. And if you're in that space and you're competing against 19 others, who is going to stand out in such a noisy and who's going to really take a step up and be that go-to expert in that field? And that's where a consistent brand image for women entrepreneurs is so incredibly important. I call it the 7-Eleven rule, but I'm just because it's the convenience store. But it's actually people make 11 decisions about you in 7 seconds.
I love that.
And it's amazing if you feel awesome. If you don't feel awesome, it can be just the opposite. So I mean, and these are, I mean, and there's always those people, oh, I don't judge. I don't judge. Well, yeah, we all judge. And we judge 11 times in 7 seconds. So when you're talking about entrepreneurs and trying to, attract that ideal client, subliminally, they're making 11 decisions about you. And I have to assume that a lot of those are, is she worth the price? Do I want to hire her? Does she seem credible? And all of that. And there's just, no matter how fast you talk, you can't say enough in 7 seconds to get that point across where your image can do it in a nanosecond. So,
Well, and we all want to work with people we like and trust.
Yes.
So like you said, the more your personality can come through in whatever way it is, be your LinkedIn profile, be it the way you present yourself, then you're showing people who you really authentically are. And so you're going to get matched up with people better aligned with you, which is,
Yep.
incredibly important for me. And that I feel that's why you and I hit it off so quickly. I was just like, oh, she has great energy. I mean, you and I could chat for hours, right?
Right.
I've never even
Yes.
met you in person. So it's an interesting world we live in. So
Yes.
let's take that as an opportunity to talk about Zoom, right?
Okay.
I think you did a survey on LinkedIn asking what's your top tip for Zoom.
Yes.
And it was the computer stand, which I carry with me everywhere, by the way. I learned that one early, so it's amazing.
Gosh, yes.
But are there other tips that you can give our audience about how they can look and feel their best on Zoom and brand themselves through Zoom or through videos, since that seems to be where we're all living today?
Yep, absolutely. That is such a great question. And I hear so many of my clients talk about how difficult this new hybrid work environment is, being, half on virtual, half in the office, or half in person, that type of thing. So a good rule of thumb is the same rules that you would use when dressing for media, whether it be a TV or a talk show. Those rules also apply with Zoom. Those are like the best practices, right? So, keeping the colors solid, not a lot of loud prints. You're only seeing from your bust up. So anything loud is just going to be super distracting and, detract from your message. So solid colors are always best. Clean, tailored lines also work best. Nothing like not a ton going on. Not only does that open the door, I don't know if anybody else is a fiddler, but if there's something like hanging, I will fiddle with it. So just keep it clean, nothing, nothing to mess with. And then to make sure that you have one focal point. So for example, and I mean, I don't know how many people are actually going to watch this versus just listen to it, but you want to, accessorizing is super important. On the flip side, you don't want to over accessorize because then it's distracting and you just don't know where you're supposed to look. So really make sure that when you're doing your like pre-Zoom thing, make sure are they looking where I want them to look? So, and then of course there's also the background, and to your point, the stand is, priceless. You think about when we first went, like everybody was being interviewed from home right after shutdown. I got the look up so many people's noses. I was like, you guys, please buy a stand. Like, come on, prop that bad boy up. And not only that, it avoids the whole double chin thing. So
yeah, which especially as we get older becomes more and more.
I've been blessed with one since I popped out of the womb. So it's just, yeah. I like a little height up there.
That's so funny. So, Angela, in your opinion, obviously if you're having an important Zoom meeting, etc., but, for me, if we're having an internal team, we have our daily huddle every morning, so we might be a little more casual for that. But I still feel personally it's important to show up looking your best. Your best might be a little more casual than it was in real life, let's call it, right? But what are your thoughts on that? And what are the tips that you give your clients?
So, and it's such a great question. And it's one of those things where it used to be super easy, right? We would have in our closet, we would have work clothes in one section and we'd have casual for the weekend. And then we might have a couple fun things to go out with the girls or the guy or who, whatever. And it used to be very segmented and it was so much easier to get dressed when we had those guardrails on. And now we don't. And that's one of the, to your point, when I'm on Zoom 3 days a week and then in person 2 days a week, no longer can we just have that one segment, right? So it's almost like we have, instead of just having one section of our closet with work, we have a couple. We have the in-person clothes that make sense for dressing our brand where it needs to be head to toe immaculate. And then we have the ones that we can get by with Zoom where we still want to present that level of authority and expertise and all of that, but it can be, more from the waist up type of thing. Did that answer your question? I'm not sure that it did.
No, it did. And so,
okay, good.
So basically life has gotten more complicated.
It has. Absolutely. There is a price to be paid for being able to wear leggings 3 days a week. The top still has to look awesome.
which is why your business is booming.
Yes.
We all need help. So I want to go to another topic, but let's talk about leggings real quickly, because I had a friend visiting a few weeks ago, and I'm in Nashville now, and so we were downtown Nashville, and it was the SEC championships, and there were tons of 20-something guys running around in their jogger pants, right?
Yes.
And so my friend, who's in his late 40s, is like, "Oh, what? All these people just gave up on life already?" And that was his comment, and I'm sitting there going, I'm wearing fancy leggings. Are you saying that about me? So, do you think we've gotten too comfortable? Like, what would you say?
Right. So as an overall, the way a woman feels is the way she's going to project herself. Yeah. If she feels amazing in leggings and a really fun off the shoulder sweater with accessories, then that's how she's going to show up, is feeling amazing. So I don't like to say across the board. Personally, with the state of my thighs, I'm not a big legging person, but that's just me. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't show up as my best self because I don't like how my thighs look in them. Right. So it really is about what makes her feel fantastic and all of that. And yes, it absolutely has gotten more casual. Do I miss everybody like presenting themselves like as, depending upon the situation? Yeah. I think joggers are cute. The other thing we have to keep in mind too is that and I have a 5-step framework, and I don't want to kill you with it, but the very first thing is learning how to dress for your body shape. And once that happens, like once you know, like the styles that do work on your shape, the ones that make you feel amazing, it makes everything else so much easier. And if you feel amazing in leggings, God bless America, go for it. Wear them every day.
Well, and that's kind of where I'd like to go next. You mentioned to me once that once you know how to dress for your body shape, if you go up or down 10 pounds, which, we women tend to do, maybe I'm up 30 pounds now, so that's a little more challenging. But, I just, this is an issue with all my girlfriends right now. I mean, especially post-COVID, and, I don't like to make an excuse for it. I need to take that weight off. But in the meantime, I still want to show up and feel my best. So do you have any tips for that, or talking women through? Because like you said, when we feel beautiful, we are beautiful. It's
Absolutely.
Something that comes from inside. It really has nothing to do with what we're wearing. So I'd love just kind of any tips or tricks, or just, giving women more confidence in dressing as our weight fluctuates.
Yes, absolutely. And April, you know me in this topic. I could literally talk about this forever. So yes, we always feel like it's just happening to us, right? Like it's just, I'm the only one that's dealing with an extra 5-10 pounds or 30, or whatever the situation is. The thing we have to know is, number one, we're women and our weight will fluctuate. I mean, heck, it does every month, like, goes up, and with bloat and all. I mean, so it just does. We have babies, we gain weight, we lose it sometimes, all of that. We go through menopause, we go through like everything. Our bodies are always changing. And so, yes, there's a power in knowing how to dress for your body shape. And when I take clients through this, yes, I want you to know how to dress for your body shape today. I also, once you know the premise of balance, then you also know when your body shape changes, how to change that balance in the styles that you choose. So it's still flattering and you still feel amazing. I think, too many of us, we get caught up on the number on the scale, which means nothing except for you and your doctor, or the size that we wear. Like, oh, I will never buy that size clothes, or whatever the situation is. And honestly, nobody cares. Like, nobody's in my closet looking at, well, she has everything from a this size to a this size, so clearly she's, experienced some changes. Nobody cares, as long as you feel amazing. And once you understand balance and how to use styles to either emphasize the balance that you're given naturally or create the illusion of balance, because that's really what clothes is all about. It's just the only thing women have to know is, if I don't have balance, these are the styles that are going to create the illusion of it, because clothes, just like makeup, are just an illusion. So did that help?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I used to have my closet segmented by size, so I can feel you.
Yes.
So, question on that. Then I have a question for shopping to ask you about.
Oh, good,
So,
good.
on the closet situation,
Yes.
do you think women should, like, how long should they hold on to, the
Gosh.
smallest skinny
Yes.
size,
Yes.
right? Because
Yes.
I'm a big fan of hiring people to organize my closet because it makes my
Right.
life much easier. And,
Absolutely.
it's like, why are you just guilting yourself by holding these? Like, everyone has
Yep.
all these theories. So,
Yep.
I guess, what would your theory or what would
Oh
your
my
kind of
gosh.
guidance be for your clients or for our
Right.
audience?
April, that's an amazing question. And yes, it comes up all the time. So a couple things. I'm not a big, and that's actually like organizing the closet and the closet audit is the last step. So after we go through the whole 5 steps, that's the very last thing that we do. The reason why is a couple things. We can have clothes in our closet that we don't wear. So I'm not a big proponent for, oh, you know how that, and I think it's an old wives' tale maybe or something, but an old cliche, like, oh, if you haven't worn it in 6 months, get rid of it because clearly it's not right for you. I completely disagree. It can be a situation of it's a great piece for you. You just don't have anything to wear with it, in which case we need to be very strategic when we're shopping and make sure that if it needs a black pencil skirt to go with it, that that's on our shopping list. So I'm not a big deal, like I'm not a big fan of that. I'm also not a big fan of holding on to clothes that we may or may not ever get into again. I think there is something to be said for when you're standing in your closet in the morning and you're picking out the outfit for the day and you have to thumb through 5, 10, 15 pieces that don't fit you. What that does mind chatter wise is not good. It's by the time that you find something that fits you and that you feel great in, you've already like hit your self-esteem so many times. Walking out the door feeling capable of like conquering the universe, it's tough. Like it's hard to make that mindset shift. So the other thing too is that most of my clients, and they're like, oh, but I might fit into it. And I'm like, great, you absolutely might. Whenever that is, are you going to want to shop for new clothes? Or are you going to want to drag out something that you wore a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and all of that? I mean, there's something to be said for when you like drop 5 pounds and you fit into a different size pant. That's exciting to go shopping. You're like, yes. So are you really going to wear them even if and when you do lose weight? So there's that thing. Yes. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that was
Okay,
great.
good.
Yeah, what I love is, in my mind, when I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, oh, so we can add purging our closets to our items of self-care and self-love, right?
Yes.
Because, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's so true. And when you're going through that, and I think this is where the shopping thing comes in. So is a lot of times we'll either shop online or we'll go to the mall or go to our favorite store and we're expecting something just to jump out at us. And that's how we end up with 15 black dresses in our closet and nothing else. So one of the things that I take clients through is like, you have to make a list. You wouldn't go to the grocery store to make holiday dinner without a shopping list. Don't go to the mall. Don't online shop without a very strategic list. Not to say that you can't buy anything that's not on your list, but those are the things that you need to check off first. That alleviates a lot of the overwhelm when it comes to walking through a store. Or what's worse is when you spend 3 hours in the dressing room and you're like, yeah, I don't like any of it. And I just wasted 3 hours of my time. Like no one has time for that nonsense.
No, I agree.
No.
And then, because I shared with you my weight has fluctuated, so I will bring a couple of different sizes into the dressing room. So what do you guide? Because sometimes actually the smaller size surprisingly looks better, right? So I think in our head, sometimes we think, oh, I put on some weight, I need to go up a size. Yes. But to your point, it depends on your shape, because I know tailored looks better for me because I'm curvy. So it's like, I hate when I go in the shop and they're like, oh, you're blah. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, first of all, I hate when the salespeople assume your size. Not a good sales tactic if you're
right.
listening and you're in retail. I
Well,
do not
that's
assume my size.
right. And that's like, like you're dating some guy and he buys you something for Christmas, yeah, he needs to be very careful when he's choosing the size. So no, that's such a great question. And again, it's just a number. And to be quite honest, it's not even a static number, because you go into Bloomingdale's and you could go to 3 different of their departments with 3 different designers and it would not be the same size at all. So it really is just a guide. It's not anything that we need to take into ourselves and own as that number. Like, who cares? Do you know what I mean? Yes. But to your point, the smaller size often fitting. Yeah. There's a couple things with that. Number one, in our heads, oftentimes with women, we're so hypercritical of our figure that we see ourselves as bigger than what we actually are. So there's that. And then the other thing too is women sometimes they'll think, oh, if I buy the bigger size, it'll camouflage more. Oh, yeah. And that is a huge misnomer, because and I always like to use my chemistry professor as an example. And the only thing I remember from chemistry, but it's the whole volume plus volume equals more volume. So if we have an area of our bodies, our figure, that has volume naturally, and then we add something oversized and loose and shapeless over top of it, we're actually making that area look bigger. We're not camouflaging anything. So, and it's a hard mindset shift for some women to wrap their head around and to say, oh yeah, you're right. And it's almost one of those things until we work together and they see it on, that they're like, oh, now I know what you're talking about. You're right. I do look so much thinner. So yeah.
No, I love it. So a couple of takeaways are: try the smaller size.
Yes.
Go to the mall, the shop, wherever with your list.
Yes.
And then, another big issue today, Angela, is ordering clothes online.
Yes.
So do
yes.
you have any recommendations
oh my God.
when it comes to shopping online?
Yes, so many. In fact, I have a whole workshop about it. Yes. Awesome. And because, so many women come to me and they say, I hate to shop and I don't know how to shop. And it's so true. Nobody ever teaches us how to shop. I mean, unless you were blessed with a super savvy mom, sister, aunt who just knew these things inherently and shared them with you, nobody ever teaches us. Like, we graduate from college, we get a credit card, we go to the mall because we need 5 outfits for work next week, right? Like, I mean, that's where we go. So a couple of things. In regards to online shopping, the best thing to do is, and as you figure out what shapes work on your body style, or what styles work on your body shape and what fits your branding and all of that type of thing, that will help narrow down the places that you can shop. So once you have, 3 or 4 or 5 places that has the styles, has the designers that you like and that looks good on you, definitely make sure you bookmark them so that anytime you need something, you can go back. So that's the first thing. Then there's so many tools. Online retailers do not want us to return things. They lose money. We lose money. So they want to make it as easy on us to shop as possible. One of the things that women don't realize is that there's filters. So almost any designer website that you go on to, any retailer that you go on to, there will be filters. And so you can look and see number one, use the filters so you don't waste hours and hours looking for the black pencil skirt or whatever. So it really narrows it down. The other thing is that they'll have model specs or model dimensions, that type of thing. So you can look and see, okay, so the model is 5'10", I'm 5 feet. That's clearly not going to look the same on her as it does on me. So look and see what the dimensions are. And once you know your numbers, so for example, once you know that your inseam is 30 inches, you can rule out a lot of stuff that's not going to fit. And you'll also know where to shop because they offer 30-inch inseams or they don't, or whatever the situation is. But once a woman knows what's the hemline on the dress that I like, is it 32 inches? Is it 33? Whatever. Once you know your numbers, you can really alleviate a lot of wasted time, and it also makes better buying decisions.
Yeah. I love it. I love shortcuts and everything, so
Yes.
I will buy the same piece in multiple
Yes.
colors. I do
Yes.
that with shoes too.
Oh my gosh, me too.
These are
Yeah.
comfortable. They look good. I need another color. So.
Absolutely. But April, that's part of the reason why, again, your brand image is so consistent. Do you know what I mean? Because you know it looks good, you stick with it, and then people recognize that. So even if they don't remember your name, they know that you're an expert in your field and that, it's the girl with fill in the blank. So yeah.
Right. I love it. Yeah, so I am one of those lucky women whose mother did teach me how to shop. So
Same.
just
You
a
are
little tip
blessed.
for our audience. She would bring me in. I would have everything I wanted in the room, right? And then she would be like, okay, you get to spend $200. And I had to add up and pick what I was going to get.
So good.
And I still shop the same way. I'll go and give myself a budget and I'm like, okay, you're done here. And I will still shop that way, and my parents, bless their hearts, were both quick to tell me if something was not flattering. And I remember one time coming down, it was like second semester of college. My boyfriend was studying abroad. And my dad's like, no lipstick. That's a new look. So I don't know. I probably should be having this conversation with my therapist, but yeah, it was always expected in the Roberts household that the women showed up looking appropriately.
And I'm sure that he was like, my daughter is gorgeous and lovely no matter what, whether she wears, but it's so true. And it's interesting to me how many clients I've had where their parents, their girlfriends, their boyfriend will have made some comment 20 years ago. And for whatever reason, it's still locked into their head. And it's like no basis but it can really, like, comments on our style and our looks can really impact women and how they feel. So yes.
Oh, I totally agree. And yeah, when women talk about they don't like to shop, like I love shopping. I don't love being at a mall per se.
Right.
It's an energetic thing. I can kind of feel everyone's energy. So I like to go like during the week when there aren't many people there. Or
the parking's better too.
Yes, exactly. So I'm kind of lucky. The mall's right across the street from me. I just walk.
Perfect.
But I don't have time to shop, so I'm kind of envious.
Exactly
I'm like,
right.
what do you mean you don't like shopping? Like that's kind of, but I grew up, that was like a treat for us to get to go shopping. So it's just kind of stuck there. But, that really speaks to what I see with my, high achieving female clients is a lot of guilt because they're balancing being an entrepreneur, being an executive, working a lot. They're a mom usually, and they have a significant other. And so, unfortunately, women put themselves last so much. And, it's part of my world mission to flip that because I feel women are the foundation of the home, of our communities, of most businesses today. And if they don't take care of themselves, then, they can't take care of everyone else. So let's take that theory and put it into shopping. Why should the women listening today not feel guilty about shopping? Because if we can change a couple of women's minds, I would feel like a winner on this.
Yes. April, could not agree more. So, and I know this is the most overused cliche in the world, but that whole thing of putting your own oxygen mask on before you help everybody else, especially women who have children, I think you need to, it would be so beneficial for them to see a woman who not only takes time for herself, takes time for everyone else and all of that. The example that you're setting, not only for your daughters, but for your sons, to say, this is the expectation. Like, yes, I love you guys and I love myself just as much. And I want you guys to feel the same. I want you guys to grow up having that ability to love and appreciate yourself. And yes, it is so important. It's so incredibly important, especially when women are, to your point, they are executives. They are starting their own business or growing their business or scaling that makes your life so much easier when you can show up and be your very best. I don't know. I could go on about it forever, but yes.
Oh, please. This is a passion of mine as well. And, there's nothing more beautiful than a woman who feels good in her skin. It doesn't
Yes.
really matter what the exterior is, but I love it when I'm working with my clients and we have a moment and they have a realization and you just see them soften and settle into who they are. And for me, it's just so beautiful. And what's interesting is men see this more than we do because, if you think about it, there's the attraction principle, right?
Right.
So they see these little tweaks more than we give ourselves credit for. So it's really interesting. But no, I love it. In my small group coaching and just one-on-one, when I see the group, just kind of you see them just take a breath and put everything aside, and you're looking at the true essence of the woman in front of you. And for me, I just think it's beautiful. And I think, we need to support each other more. We need to give genuine compliments, not the fake ones, genuine compliments when necessary. And I don't know, cheerlead each other more.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Cool. So I'm so glad you're here. All right. Any last tips for our women listeners on how to dress, how to maneuver the complications of our post-COVID hybrid work environment?
Yes.
And then I want to ask you a couple of personal questions.
Oh, of course. The biggest tip and the biggest takeaway is to plan ahead. So my clients and I will look at a quarter in advance, all of the events that they have, whether they're speaking engagements, networking, big meetings, whatever the situation is, and plan what they're going to wear ahead. I mean, I do once we get their brand all nailed down. But that is the most important thing. We put so much undue pressure on ourselves and oftentimes end up settling when we shop at the last minute, plan at the last minute, and all of that. If we can say, these are the 5 big events I have coming up this quarter, this is what, and plan ahead, then it just takes all the pressure off. And then you can actually be present and give the best presentation or have the best photo shoot or have the best client meeting, whatever the situation is. Panic shopping leads to bad decisions and us not feeling the best. So if I had to have
and for
one
me
tip
personally, because I find when I suddenly have a trip the weekend before, I'll run to buy stuff and I end up spending more money than necessary because I haven't planned ahead. So no, I wrote that one down. I'm going to give you a call soon. We're going to do some sessions and get my quarters planned out. So.
Love it. It'll be a blast.
That's so awesome. So, Angela, what do you love most about what you do on a daily basis?
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I am with you. I'm one of those girls who loves to shop. So the fact that I get to do it for a living is kind of, wow, I didn't know that was the thing. So that's amazing. But really, it is, I love smart women. I love hanging out with smart women. I love to learn. And I get to do all 3 of those things with my clients. They're so brilliant. They're so driven. They're so caring and giving and all of that. And being able to spend each and every day, helping them, realize their best selves is a gift. It's absolutely a gift. And watching a woman's confidence just skyrocket, her self-esteem just flourish, it's a gift. So that's what I love most.
Oh, I love that. So in Vixen, abundance is one of our core principles. And I love how you've turned what you do into abundance, right? You kind of say you love saving your clients time and energy so that they can focus on what's important and be more abundant. And I just, I love this because we all need more abundance in all parts of our life. So I love that you touched on that today. And, I think sometimes shifting our mindset to realize, hey, if I take care of myself, if I feel good about how I look, I'm actually more suited to give to the world. So it's like filling your own cup first, right? Or putting an oxygen mask on, like you said. So
absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm sure most people could be like, oh my gosh, you guys are talking about shopping and style today. Yes, we are. And here's why you should be too.
Right? 7-Eleven, 11 decisions. It's too important not to.
No, I love that. And, and also when you take the time to put in your wardrobe, you can feel authentic. I mean, like one of my good friends, and she's like, oh, I feel most feminine when I'm a little bohemian, which is
Right.
totally different than her workwear. But that's cool. I don't think that many women have put that kind of thought into it, right?
Right.
Like, I like
Yes.
this. I like this
Yep.
is when I feel best. And I think,
Yes.
like we said, that's when women are at their most beautiful. So
Exactly.
thank you so much
Yes.
for sharing these tips today and why you love what you do. I have a question for you that might be difficult. What's your favorite piece of clothing or accessories that you own?
Okay, that I own. Oh my gosh. So I'm a huge earring fan.
Yeah.
And yes. So if I had to pick my favorites though, oh my gosh, this would be tough. Gosh, I don't know. Do I have to just pick one pair, or can I just say earrings as a category is my
You
favorite?
you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
So you don't have a certain pair that you've kept maybe forever and a day.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I am definitely a collector.
Yeah.
And yes, and that is probably, while I'm a huge purger in my actual clothes themselves, jewelry, not so much. Like
Hmm.
jewelry, I have a tendency to hang on to those pieces that I really adore. And so yeah, off the top of my head, I would just have to say that whole category. I hope that's not cheating.
No, I love it. You have
Okay.
beautiful earrings on
Oh,
today.
thank
So
you.
I like it very much. It's interesting because now that you say that, I can see it from every time I've seen you. You have very cool earrings on.
Yes. Well, we talk about that, like how important it is for women entrepreneurs or executives to have a signature accessory, something that flatters their body shape, and then also that they sort of, even if to your point it's subliminal, that people notice that she always has that, so there's that consistency again. So yeah, good, it's
That's
working.
funny. I love it. I love it. I actually have a velvet blazer that I bought when I
Oh,
was studying abroad in
I
London at
love
Portobello
that.
Market, like at
I
age
love
21.
that.
That's still in my closet. So sometimes it fits, sometimes it doesn't, but I love that thing. And
Yes.
yeah, my favorite accessory is my first Prada purse I bought. It
Oh, I
was
love that.
2014, first time I splurged on
Oh,
something, and
good.
it still looks perfect. It's a black purse and it looks beautiful. And I've
And
like only
timeless.
bought one other black purse since 2014.
Right.
So I like to, I chat with women about their money mindset and abundance. So if you think about how much money I actually saved from buying this
Yes.
one piece,
Yes.
even though at
Yes.
that point it seemed extravagant and outrageous, but I love quality, so I will take quality over quantity
Me
any day.
too. Me too. Absolutely. And timeless. I mean,
Hmm.
like those quality pieces, there's a reason. And it's just because you'll get so much wear and so much use. And not only that, look at it. Yes, you saved all that money, but think about how much time shopping for a different black purse you also saved. So back to your abundance. Yes. Yes.
No, that's
Amen. I'm
absolutely
cheering you
true.
on.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Awesome. So, if you wouldn't mind, Angela, would you share what you loved most about our chat today?
Oh my gosh. Anytime I can have a conversation with you about branding and helping women, it is always just the highlight of my week. I think to your point, if we can make a difference in 4 women's lives a month or, one a day, like that is so powerful. And I just feel like that caring message spreads. And to your point, let's spread the goodness.
Yeah.
So, yep.
No, I call it the ripple effect. My dream is to
Yes.
have a badass love fest where we're all just
Yes.
like loving each
Yes.
other,
Yes. Yes.
being our best selves,
Yes.
So I
Absolutely.
love that. Thank you so much. Yes, I loved chatting with you and getting
Good.
to talk about shopping. That makes it
Yeah,
so much
right.
better. and tying it to something spiritual, which is
Yeah.
my other love. So,
Yes.
yeah, no,
Good.
I just really love this conversation. I thank you so
Good.
much. So, I
No,
want to
thank
ask
you,
our
April.
audience, share with us, please, what did you love about the talk today? And here's a great thing. We've partnered with Angela, and if you would drop us a review in iTunes and then just email my team@vixengathering.com with your iTunes ID, we would love to send you Angela's closet must-haves. So I'm sure you'll took tons of notes today. You can rewatch, write that down, but we'd love to share with you her closet must-haves. So again, just let us know what you thought of this episode, if you're loving the podcast in general, and then let my team know at team@Vixen Gathering that you dropped us a note and your iTunes ID, and we'd love to send you a gift from Angela and a gift from us as well. Awesome. Angela, so what upcoming events do you have? Is there anything, I'm sure just like me, plenty of our listeners are thinking, oh, how do I get more of Angela, right?
I
So,
love that. Yeah.
by the way, I already made a note. I'm making an appointment ASAP. So,
I can't wait.
Yes, it'll be fun. Actually, we need to get together in the same city, though, and do real
Yeah.
shopping.
Yes, that would, oh my gosh. Yes, that would be delightful. Yes.
Awesome.
So
what do you have for our audience or anyone who is interested in working with you or chatting further?
Right. So I have a couple of things going on. The first one is, and this I just launched officially last month, but it's the Dress Your Brand coaching program, where it's a one-on-one program where I work with executives, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, that we really nail down what their brand style is and give them tips on where to find it. What's your signature accessory? What's your kind of signature look, so that they can be consistent when they show up with visibility. So that's probably been, well, it started last month. It's definitely been my favorite thing for the month so far, getting to meet all these amazing women. So that's been great. They can check it out and get more information when they come to my website. It's angelastylecoach.com. Oh, and while they're there, definitely make sure to sign up for the newsletter, because I send out weekly tips on Sunday morning and all of that. So
love it. And below we have all of Angela's contact information where you can get in touch with her. I'd highly recommend follow her on LinkedIn. I personally feel people take themselves a little too seriously on LinkedIn. So I love when your bra posts pop up in my feed. So if you need, a little giggle or a little fun during the day with real good quality tips about style, check out Angela on LinkedIn as well. Would love that. So Angela, we're going to wrap up with just a couple of questions. Again, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, it's been so fun. It's so fun. Yes, absolutely.
So a question I have for you, this is something I struggled with recently because, we talk a lot about the divine feminine in the Vixen Gathering, but there's many versions of the divine feminine, right? A friend of mine jokes like they want us to be light pink, but I want to be fuchsia.
Right?
Which I love. So my question is, what does feminine look like to you, or when do you feel you're most feminine? Because this is different for every woman.
It is. It is. I have to say, it's probably, ironically, it's probably less about the clothes and more about how I'm feeling connected to others. That's when I'm helping other women is when I feel the most feminine and the most helpful and powerful and as the contributor, right? From a clothing standpoint, I have to say, you know what? It could be anything from casual to dressy. When it's flattering and it fits and still comfortable, that's when I feel the very, very best. So did that answer your question?
Yes, it
does. Good.
Thank you.
Good.
And if you had to put a color on your femininity, what would it be?
Right. I would probably say black.
I love it.
Yes. Nice. Yes. It is definitely my my default. Yes. Yep. Cool. Black. I like it.
I like it. And the reason I love asking this question is, again, sometimes, we're helping women to feel good in their femininity,
Yeah,
but we have to understand it feels different for all of us, right?
absolutely.
Because my
Absolutely.
feminine color is definitely magenta. It's a little
Oh,
bit bold, a little bit flirty.
I like
Like,
it. I like
it's
it.
kind of out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So awesome. I love it. So, Angela, one thing I always say is I feel the world needs more love, especially right now, but
Mhm.
always.
Yeah.
So, we're going to wrap up here. And if you had a parting message for our audience or the world, what would it be?
So I am a big proponent of complimenting other women.
Hmm.
I have found that very few women, we see somebody who looks amazing and we just assume she knows it. We don't need to tell her and all of that. And I'm a big proponent for sprinkling compliments like glitter. To your point earlier, definitely make sure they're sincere. But there's so many women out there that never hear how amazing they truly are. And if we can fill in that void and that gap, it's a beautiful thing. So
I love that. Thank you
good.
so much.
Good.
So to leave, I'm going to
Yes.
compliment you. I love your red lips, your black
Oh.
top, and your gorgeous earrings.
Thank, thank you
But
very much.
you're welcome. But mainly, I love your laughs. So again, Angela, thank you so much for
No,
being with
thank
us
you.
today. I appreciate it, and I look forward to our shopping session.
Absolutely. April, thank you so much for having me. This was such a privilege. And I'm excited to hear what everybody thinks and questions.
Yes. All right.
Yep.
Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you too. Bye bye.